Pennsylvania. They feel like this is their home turf. Karen Stalba, driving AA Auto Salvage car over at Rhineside. She's out of Hamilton, New Jersey, but trust me when I tell you, she has made a lot. If you want to come back and run more tonight, you better turn on the scoreboard. In a cameo appearance. This is kind of an interesting matchup. The car in left lane is Dwayne Shields, the Muscle Milk team. All the way from Boulder City, Nevada. He's a former world champion, but he has announced that he is going to retire from driving. And this is going to be his final event. He certainly doesn't want to leave early at his final event. But the driver on the right side is Mike Lewis. Mike Lewis, who grew up here, whose family at one point had an ownership stake here, who at one point was the general manager here. He's driving a car that is owned and tuned by Robin to see if he can do it here at round number 1. The number 3 and number 6 qualifiers yesterday, but they were only separated by a couple of hundredths of a second. They're ready. Great drag race. 5:27 for the win for Mike Lewis. 272 miles. That is Dan Page, driving the car that is owned by Art Gallant. And Dan Page is actually the guy who built the car. Chassis builder, race car specialist. He built a lot of these cars. Art Gallant said, you know what? I don't want to drive anymore, former world champion. He said, but I do still want to go out and race. Dan said, why don't you let me get in that thing? And they become a formidable pair. Jackie Frick drives for John Fink, the equipment contractor and broker out of the Albany, New York area. That's Fink Equipment. Got Wright trailers over there helping out. Accelerated travel as well. Jackie was the number 2 qualifier at 5:21. Dan Page was in the number 7 spot. But the difference between cars, we're talking hundredths of a second from top to bottom. The fact that, hey, I qualified better than you might make you feel a little bit better, but there is no big performance advantage out there. Shut it down. So Jackie Frick with a buy run here in round number 1. Wow. I didn't see that one coming. .273, 274 miles yesterday. The worst run Matt Cummings made. He would have qualified number 1. No kidding. John Osherman actually works on these cars, travels the country with Dwayne Shields' team. He's a truck driver and helps out with maintenance on that thing, but he really doesn't have any responsibilities once they get to the racetrack. So he got together with Joe Cantrell, who's the guy leaning over the left side of the motor down there in the left lane, and got an opportunity to drive the machine. For Matt Cummings, runs a leasing business down in Florida. This is the other of the McPhillips cars, obviously the green machine, that's kind of their trademark colors. In qualifying, the slowest run he made was 5.18. The quickest run anybody else made was 5.21. Performance? Or can John maybe get a little jump on a starting line and help his cause? Jasmine Salinas awaits the winner. But he didn't quite have enough race car. Matt goes 5:21, 278 miles an hour, and that's going to be a winner. I'll call funny car. Now we have 7 I'll call funny gets a free ride in round number one, number one qualifier with DJ Cox after he like bare knuckle rolled it out. Rev him up. I see. And stay clicked it off a little early, but man, that thing was trucking 572 at 213 miles an hour. And while there have been a couple alcohol funny cars, we made the switch over to injected nitro and started doing some testing, some experimenting. As of this date, I do believe the Olympic 1 is running competition, and there were none here this weekend, so we're all blown alcohol here. The blown alcohol machines run a whole lot higher RPM in order to make horsepower. And they all have 3-speed transmissions. That's why you hear them rev them up before they leave the starting line. Shook Rapp and the Moduline Captain team out of Manchester. They may not be perfectly comfortable with what their car is doing. In the semifinals. I guarantee this. Success over the years, mostly on the other side of the fence. When she comes out to mix it up with our NHRA players, way more often than not she qualified. Beautiful machine they've got down there. Well, that did Lance and her team. And over on the right side, the guy was a prolific winner, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, Wayne Morris had the lane choice. These two cars qualified only 100th of a second apart. Wayne's car a little bit lazy out there, but it went right down the groove. Funny cars. Coming at you right now, Phil Borgard on the left side, Brian Gallick on the right. Winner gets Matt. Interesting pair here. Now, Phil Burkhardt made one decent run yesterday, but he's driving that Follow Dream machine down there for Jay Blake, and that car has really been kind of giving him fits. And for Brian Gallick and team, their car hasn't exactly been cooperative either. We've seen both of these cars run spectacular numbers, but sometimes you just kind of get a bugaboo going on. Best run Brian Gallick has made, and it's going to be enough. Hey, Pennsylvania, you